Morning people, vlog time. Hope you can see me clearly because it's still a little bit dark this morning. It's Tuesday morning. Me and the fishing dog here. There she is. Sky. She's not moving. She's not. She thinks that she's really cold and she's shivering and feeling sorry for herself. Yeah, she's had a hot water bottle all night. Her bed's been absolutely roasting. Back at London Road Pond again. Decided just to hit this one more time, just to see if the carp are still on the munch. I got here yesterday morning about 6:30 in the morning. I was going to go in another peg a bit further up so I could get my float fishing done as well as my carp fishing, but couldn't get the bivvy in there. Very well, so I've come back into peg 16. I've got 3 carp rods out at the minute, same places that I had before. I've got one over to the snags here, one over to the snags here, and a chod rig down the middle. I've put a couple of handfuls of bait over this rod, and I've put about 1.5 kilos out around the snags. I had a carp yesterday. I had a pickup on my right hand rod, like half a pickup, and then no sooner as I had the pickup, I seen a carp straight over the top of where the rig was. So I left it for about another half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, just to see, and then reeled it in. And I should have just left it really, because it was okay. So I think what probably happened is the carp must have run into the tight line, because I've got that rod on a tight line, this right hand rod, because that is right smack bang up to the snag. This middle rod is about a metre and a half metre off, so that's on a semi slack line. And then my chod rig down here, which you all know is on a really slack line. Boilie wise, I've put my normal crave boilies out, some of my tiny bit of my squid and spice, and then these new baits from the carp catcher, octopus and squid. I've just mixed a couple of kilos of them in my bucket with my crave, just so there's a tiny bit of fish meal in there with the rest. I put them out yesterday with a throwing stick, but I only had 2 rods to start off with yesterday, and decided to do some float fishing. So I float fished about 30 yards out onto the ledge using a big 12-gram waggler, which was a nightmare to get the shotting pattern right on it. And I fished over mixed some ground bait up where I had some brown crumb, a tiny bit of betaine ground bait green, and then I mixed some lehman with it. I did some micro pellets, added them to it, mixed all that together and left it. And I chopped up some casters, some chopped worm, and I put some Predator Plus. It's like really red, got loads of smell to it. Put some of that in with the casters and the worm, chopped it all up with the scissors, as you do, and then put that in a tub. And then what I did was I added I added about 1.5 handfuls of that into the ground bait, and decided to make small balls and put them out about 30 yards out. And I just got enough, I could just reach still with maggots as well, so I put worm and maggot on the hook. Then I messed about with that for a good few hours, but I couldn't get a bite. Got a couple of like little dinks, what I think were dinks, off a smaller fish, and then that was it. You know, and I tried to keep spraying maggots over the top, or catapulting some smaller balls of lehman that out, but it didn't make any difference. Just grabbed my drink, people, my morning coffee. So, come to last night, it went that cold, I decided to leave the float rod out and I put it back in the holder. Got my other carp rod out and put that out on a chod. because it was just way too cold last night. And it's that time of year now, you're not really going to get many tench now. You're going to get the odd one, but it's just not worth sitting there all night. What I'll probably do is just have from like tea time when it gets dark up till about 9 o'clock at night on the float, if I am going to bother, and then as soon as I've brought that float rod in, just put my other carp rod back out. I think that's what I'll probably do. It's like today, I ought to really have a mess about with a feeder rod and see if I can get them feeding out there, the skimmers and that. I'll probably do that in a bit because I've got some rigs to tie up first. So I need to tie some rigs up, take these rods out, take Sky, the fishing dog, for a walk, and then come back and get these rods, and I'll probably do a bit of feeder fishing for today. And see how that goes. But I was really tired yesterday. It seemed forever for me to get my stuff sorted out. I didn't even get my carp rods until after dinner. And I didn't get the float rod out till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I felt that tired yesterday. And then last night it rained. It went really cold at tea time, and it was cold up till about 8-9 o'clock. Then it seemed to warm up a little bit, and I got into bed about 9 o'clock. I slept off and on all night. I woke up a few times with the alarms where so I think it's small fries gone through the line where the bobbins are lifted up and dropped straight back down. That happened 2 or 3 times last night. It's either that or there is some down these margins here, down this side and down this side. There's a couple of more ends, so it could be the moorhen's running across the line. So what I might have to do is my tips are right smack bang on top of the water. If it keeps happening tonight, I might just have to dip my tips a bit lower just in case it is the moorhens. But I'll keep my eye out today and see if they do it today. I think it's probably fry actually. I think that's what it probably is. But I seen that one carp yesterday. I haven't seen any more since. No shows of carp. There was some tench showing down the middle last night as it's getting dark, but there wasn't that many fish showing. It was pretty still, pretty quiet. And like I say, it's rained off and on all night it has. But my leg, when I got up last night, like somebody's hit it with a baseball bat. My bad leg, my bad ankle. I was in a lot of pain with it last night. As I got up, one of the rods going off, I could hardly stand up. It seemed to take me ages to get to the door. I was scrambling to try and get the door undone and get my foot in my Crocs. And then as I stood up, I could hardly stand up, and it's really sore again this morning. So I'm going to have my breakfast and sit and tie some rigs and rest it for a bit, and then when I've took the fishing dog here for a walk about 10 o'clock and took my rods out, then I'll come back. Then I might have, like I say, a day of fishing the feeder. I should really be getting it out now, but I just haven't got the energy this morning. I need to get some food down me and recuperate a little bit, because like I say, I felt really tired yesterday. Just not with it this time, but I'll be alright once I've had some food and stuff and a drink. So yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to stop, but I'll just have to see how things go. Right, I'm going to sign off for now, people. Tight lines.